Something's wrong with my screen. I can't see everybody the way I want, but that's there we go. Thank you, Chris, for whatever you did. So I have a special guest on here this morning, you guys. This is my very, very dear friend, Annie Pellegrini. Annie, can you wave, please? Thank you. I asked Annie to come on. Guys, she is the extend a hand coordinator for EXP. You can't get any bigger than Annie Pellegrini as far as disaster relief. And I wanted her just for a brief minute because I know right now she is back to back Zoom calls ever since this fire took place. As a matter of fact, she's never rested because of the North Carolina hurricanes. And so she's still working on that. So, Annie, you got the floor for about 5 minutes. Tell us what's going on. You're on mute, hon. You're on mute.
Buongiorno, Frank. Hi, everybody. I'm in Northern California, in Folsom. So I'm close to Frank in Roseville, and happy to be here to just give you the scoop on what's going on right now with regards to Extend a Hand and EXP support to the agents and staff that have been affected by the LA wildfires, and also our support with the community there. So I'm the operations manager for Extend a Hand, which is very own 501c3 foundation. For those of you that aren't aware that EXP has this, but our mission is to provide relief grants in the form of direct deposits, and these are gifts that EXP sends to you, and the money ranges anywhere from, for a disaster, anywhere from $500 to a few $1,000s. And you can go to extendahandcharity.org, and that's our website. I will also place it in the chat group when I'm done. I can't multitask right now, but so extendahandcharity.org. The top of the page, you can click on the link that says donate to LA wildfires. That money will go directly to help our agents and staff. We are partnering with other charities right now, but I'm still vetting them and making sure that we know where those donations will go and the best way for us to send additional funds to help the community. You'll also see a link to LA wildfires resources. Several agents and our brokers team and our C-level team have been working tirelessly since Wednesday morning, all including over the weekend. And we put together a list of resources. There's a web page. Ed Kaminski has a team down there that's receiving donations of supplies, but they also are a resource for if you have questions with anybody looking for short-term or long-term housing. Ed Kaminski is working with agents on those locating rentals. And also Jessica Nieto, she works with several, her team down in LA. And so if you're looking for someone that's looking for temporary or long-term housing, reach out to those two agents. I will put all of this information in the chat. Right now, we are in the process, or we've sent emergency relief funds to over a dozen agents that have reached out and said, I need help. I don't have a place to live. I don't have shelter. One lady was a single mom with 2 kids and 2 dogs, and she said, I can't find a hotel that will have my dogs. We found her a hotel for a week, and now we're helping her find more long-term home housing. In addition, we've sent them money for food and clothing and things like that. So donations are much needed. Let's see what else. I'm going to put all this in the chat, but if you have specific questions, I'm going to take that in a minute. One thing that just popped up, to apply for a grant for yourself or someone you know that that needs help, whether it's if they lost their home or they've been evacuated and they need funds for a hotel or food while they're away from their home, you can click on the apply for a grant button on our website, and you can fill out an application on their behalf. That sends it to my team, and we go through and contact them and get them the funds directly to their direct deposit account on file. So we'll work with accounting and get them funds usually within a couple, 1 or 2 days.
So
And
ma'am,
then so that's for people that are not urgent to
I have
too.
someone on my team that lost their house. So that website is the extendahandcharity.org, and you could fill it out for them.
Yeah, who is it?
Tanya Meme, Memme.
Yeah, I already talked to her and sent her funds.
Wow.
And
Oh,
she has a GoFundMe also, by the way, that we've posted to help her get more funds to her GoFundMe. So if you know someone that has a GoFundMe that lost everything, send the link to me on chat, Annie Pellegrini, or on my email, which is on the screen, and I'll circulate that within our EXP social media channels. And if you know someone, don't fill out an application actually. Send their name to me because we probably have their information already. What EXP does when there's a disaster is send out a text or an email. You all should have received one, being if you're in California, that says, "Are you safe?" We want to know. We want to make sure the number one priority is that our agents are safe and you have a place to stay, safe shelter. So if someone is not safe, send me a chat, a text, an email. And you don't need to fill out an application. Just give me their phone number. I will call them. And we're making our state broker team, regional leaders, literally made phone calls. We were making phone calls all weekend, trying to make sure that everyone was okay. If someone like you, Nate, I think you just said someone was homeless, I've talked to her. Actually, a couple of us has talked to Tanya, and her
Okay.
home actually wasn't burnt. It was the whole street was decimated. Now the National Guard is there closing down any traffic. So you can't even go to your home even if it's still standing. So it's a very sad situation. Unfortunately, we did go through this, like Frank said, in no October. All of October, we were experiencing two hurricanes in North Carolina and Florida, and we were having the same discussion. I was having the same discussions with Florida and North Carolina. And through each of these disasters, we're learning more and more how we can help our agents and staff. And we have a separate team working on calling employees as well. So we do support our employees. Now, does anybody have any specific questions, Frank?
Yeah, I know your time is limited, Annie, because you gotta go. I have one, and I don't want to be the, how should I say, the ogre in the room. How much of everybody's charity donation goes directly to extend a hand?
Okay, so every dollar we receive goes directly back to the program in nonprofit terms. It goes back directly to our agents and staff, and there we don't have any overhead like a normal nonprofit. It's me and I have support from our EXP Realty. So that's the beauty of this nonprofit is we're supported by EXP. So at this moment, 100% of the donations go directly back to our
That's the answer that I wanted to hear. That's freaking
yeah.
amazing. That really is.
Yeah. And
That
so
is.
how it works is, and we're still following up with folks in North Carolina to make sure they're okay. So in a natural disaster, there's phases. And we support the agents immediately right now, but also depending on how many people come out, there's still a lot of people that we may not have heard from yet.
Yeah.
So we'll have a list and we'll be reviewing it for weeks and weeks. And we send out phases. Phase one is for everyone that has no shelter to find shelter, for people that are evacuated to find food. Next week, we may hear from people that have damage to their home. So we send them another, and then as we grow with our donations, we'll go back and send another round of funds as we receive them.
Okay.
So,
All right. Annie, being that you have the availability to put information on the winner circle, would you please do that? Because a lot of the group is down in Southern California that is affected. I want you to please put any information that you have on the winner circle. Can you do that?
yes, yes, I will, Frank. I wanted to also let you know that I'm part of we have an LA fires chat group with agents all across the LA area. Ed Kaminsky, Ed Kaminsky being one of them, our regional broker managers in that area. and that we're sharing information all, real time, and constantly. And I know that a lot of you have tax or not tax questions, but insurance. You'll have clients with insurance questions and things like that, how to answer them. What resources can you give them? So I'm going to share with you some links from our information that we have so far for your clients or yourself.
Can
How
you
to
put
answer
those in the
them.
winner circle?
Yes.
Great. Perfect. Annie, does anybody have any more questions for Annie before she has to go?
Now, how many of you are in LA?
Well, close.
Yeah.
LA County. Yeah.
But you're safe and you're good. You're okay.
We evacuated one day. So yeah, it was getting ready for us. I was just telling before you jumped on. We left for one day, but then the fire where we're at turned. So we came back. So we stayed one night away and then came back.
Gail is in Ventura, which is another area that is always a tinderbox sometimes.
Are you okay, Gail?
Oh, I'm good, hon. The wind's just kicking up, but what was it last month or 6 weeks ago? Camarillo was on fire. That's 10 miles from me. So,
Oh, scary. All
yeah.
right. Well, I'm praying that tomorrow the winds don't get too crazy. They're saying that they may get crazy. So now
Yeah.
you know. Thanks for having me on, everybody.
Thank
Remember,
you.
our concern is, all of our agents' safety and finding a shelter for them. So any way we can help, please let us know. And also, you can always contact Justin De Cesare. Am I saying his name right? I think that's how you say it. He's our director for California and Beth Adams, and they're always here to support. Also, I will post all of this in the Winners Circle group. So take a peek at that. And thank you for having me again.
Annie, thank
Thank
you.
you.
We are so blessed to have you. You are a definite angel for a lot of families right now. Remember that.
Oh, thank you so much, Frank. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
What a job she's got. Good Lord. So let's get back now to our call. I don't even, let's see, we got, I got some people on here that I didn't acknowledge. Claudia, you feeling better? I guess not. I know she was really sick last time. So, okay. All right, Arya, you're on for about 5 minutes. Give us your take on Barry Habib. I listen to him all the time.
Wonderful. Well, keeping it short, of course, I call Barry Habib like the sushi effect. And what I mean is some people, they love him, they follow him, and they think that he's next to, God, forecasting. And some people, they don't really like care too much about him. Obviously, he had cancer, so we sent him prayers and
Yeah,
wish him well.
I heard about that. I heard he did have cancer.
And I think anytime when someone, obviously we're dealing with the Southern California, I'm glad that everybody, Nate, Gail, and everybody in Southern California is okay. Sometimes when you're not directly impacted, you forget about that. I called all my clients that I helped in Southern California, and some of them are a little bit more. So it was great to hear that we have resources from Annie. But when you have a life-threatening impact in your life, you put things in perspectives, and we realize that many times we have more blessings to come. Regarding 2025, one of the things real estate related that he talked about, that 2025 he forecasting the rate of improvement for homes or home appreciation. He said 4.1% year to year. But also I have been to Fannie, Freddie, and many other institutions that they're forecasting anywhere from 4 to 5%. So it's right in line with everybody else, what they say. Well, that one, to put it in perspective, Frank, to just honing on that one item, is if you have a home that is $500,000, have you have a client with $500,000, they're purchasing it, that equates to about $20,000 gain in 2025. So when we are approaching a buyer to help them to buy, maybe one of the messages is, do I have the permission to add $20,000 to your bottom line in 2025? Can I give you a gift? And if they say yes, if you said if you purchase the home for $500,000, you would actually have a equity gain of 4.1% that equates to $20,500 in that. In 5 years, that's about 30 to 35%. And then on a $500,000 home, he was showing us that would be about $150,000 to $175,000 of equity gain. And that's kind of like what, because we look at the numbers, but at the end of the day, buyers are looking at what is my payment? What's in it for me? Why should I buy? And when we look at the interest rate, which I'm going to get into in a moment, the idea is the interest rate is irrelevant because on your credit card, you're paying 20% or a high percentage, but you're still using it. So the question is that if you already having a housing need, you're purchasing a home, and you get to have at the end of the year another $20,000 in 5 years, in excess of $150,000, where else you can? It's almost like you have somebody working for you full time and making a great salary. So that's why the home ownership is one thing that I'm personally very proud to be part of it. And I think we as real estate practitioners, we're making a profound difference in many generations to come. He talks about that the interest rates, obviously, one of the things that was an epiphany for me, and not from very happy, but just this last year, because the Feds, they said, oh, we're going to cut interest rates 6 times and many times. And almost like anytime when I said, well, the interest is going to be lower, somehow it actually changed. It went higher. So the interest rate is something that this year we should not really pushing it too far. It's going to be lower. It's going to be higher. Find lenders that they provide solution. And I think that's kind of what my take, not only from Barry Habib, from what everything else that I'm looking at, is find lenders that they would be able to do buy downs, get the seller credit. Also work with lenders that they would do a refi at one time within the next 5 years for your client. So this way you can actually get to the lower interest rate. The interest rates, he forecasting that they would be lower than 6% this year, about 5.75. Obviously, we don't feel it now because of the job market, that they're forecasting 140,000 jobs, then now it went to 240. The interest rate actually went upwards, not downwards. So in the short term, I don't know how soon all of these things would penetrate, but the home appreciation, the other thing is also is the inventory. Inventory is still remain very low compared to kind of like 2008 to 12 timeline, when we actually kind of just like already burned through all of the inventory that we had. During COVID, we had a little bit of a boost after that, but we are not at the level that actually we can create sustainable homeownership for the US. It changes from zip code to zip code, but if you already having a home that is priced right, it's already shows well, you would be able to get that within 30 to 60 days. You can actually get that property in contract and sold. With that, 2025 remain, in my opinion, one of the best year in real estate, because a lot of realtors also going to not renew their license. I don't know how many, but certainly, I mean, you already know it. So a lot of people exiting real estate because it's still expensive. And a lot of people that cannot be able to continue with the high interest rate. That's going to be the mortgage lenders and realtors in the high interest rate environment. That's why we have to detach ourselves from the interest rate. And the idea is your home is going to appreciate. We don't, if it's a single digit, it's a normal growth, but the affordability becomes a question. And that's why we have to be creative with working with lenders that they provide financial solutions to help us to solve that challenges of homeownership for many of the buyers that they're saying, well, I cannot afford it. I think with the 2025, with the changes that's coming already, we're going to have more discretionary income. People are going to have better jobs. I think the stock market, even though it doesn't look like it's moving, but I think 2025 is going to really have a base. So all of that would lead to a greater 2025, but certainly we're going to have our challenges, but I think we're all going to overcome it. And the good thing is that despite that the interest rates were higher before, like close to 8% or 8%, we didn't lose any ground. The home prices didn't go down. Of course, if there is a home that is overpriced, it doesn't show well, and needs a lot of has a lot of deferred maintenance, then we cannot expect for that home go full price and it stays on the market. But most of the listing that stays on the market, there is a story behind it, and most of the story is not priced right. The agent doesn't show it. I mean, you cannot get a hold of the agent. Voicemail is full. I mean, there is a lot of things to troubleshoot that. But I think this year, and of course with the new changes in real estate, we have really a great place to really make the year one of the best year ever. And I have a new listing that I'm putting on. I was working on it for during the holidays to make it beautiful, painted inside. It showcases very well. And I think I'm shifting my business from also going after listings. Many of you, Nate, I know, you and many of you are listing agents. But for me, I didn't care. I was more buyers, sellers. But now I'm really chasing the sellers because I know I want to have a guaranteed paid while I'm helping my buyers to create the sustainable home ownership. That's a little bit for me. Back to you.
Aria, thank you. That is great. That is
Outstanding.
great information. If I were you, Aria, when Chris puts the recording out, I would put that recording on your YouTube channel for training purposes. But that's just my opinion.
You have great opinion. Thank you so much for the recommendation. And Chris, thank you so much for doing all of these things so we can put it to the universe.
All right, Nate, go ahead. What's up?
I'm seeing everything. I think I do agree with her. I'm a sushi fan with Barry. Then I'm like Frank. I think he's spot on and he's very realistic and stuff like that. So I think that's awesome. It'll be interesting to see, because when we're impacted by a disaster, you think the whole world is. Well, the whole world's not, because look what happened in the South with all the different people. So, but I do think it's going to continue. I think it's going to be a lot better. Everything that I've heard said it's going to be 20 to 25% better as far as more transactions. I think Arya's shaking his head on that. So I think that's good. For me personally, I typically my Decembers are really rough, and I don't close out of escrows in January and February and March, and then they pick up. It's just kind of like whoever. But for me, this has been the biggest year I've had. We are stacked with stuff. Agents are showing, people are looking at houses. And one thing that I kind of noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, we don't get any blowback whatsoever with the new contracts like we were all freaking out about. That's completely, nobody even talks about it anymore. They just sign it. Okay. We had our first FSBO that we sold and the buyer had to pay a percent and they did it and whatever. And that was good. So, but one thing we're seeing is we're not getting as, so I'm maybe, I don't know if you guys are, I've been telling my sellers, look, because people have to sign a contract, we're not getting the looky-loos. Meaning I have seen traffic slow down on my listings since August, but the quality of the buyer is better. That's just personally what I've seen, and we've been talking about that. So our open houses have picked up with traffic because people that don't want to sign the contract, I think 90 days is too short. I don't think you should have to. I think we need to extend that to 6 months. But that's what we're kind of seeing. But everything is going good. I think it's going to be great. And I don't know. We're just going to have to see. But for right now, we're just kind of in shutdown mode here. But my phone's ringing. So I think a lot of those people who didn't do anything in 2024, they have to sell now. They have to move on with their life. Like Aria said, the interest rates aren't going to plummet. We're not going to see 4.5% or something. It's just going to ease its way. So that's the environment we live in, and I think people are starting to digest it. So
Nate,
I don't know.
That was really good. I saw your activity in December. You did not slow down.
Yeah. And our
You
January is
kept
really
moving.
good. Yeah, our January, I think we're closing for. Yeah, so it's going good. What I do, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, what I have seen is I've seen on the agent side, the agents who didn't hardly do really anything anyway have just dissipated. So I look at my team
Yes.
meetings and I'm like, what the heck? And they're still there, but they're not, and they don't call back, and they just kind of are drifting away. I'm seeing that, but the people who are there, like when I go to my team meetings or I go to network groups, hey, who all's got escrows? All the hands go up. But it's a smaller group. So I agree with Aria on that point. I think you were trying to make that point too, or you did very well. So I think if we could just keep people motivated, but it seems like it's a lot harder for me as a team leader to keep people inspired. They feel a little bit blue, a little bit melancholy, So hopefully we can keep that energy going. And there's nothing like success that'll make you happy, right? So hopefully they can all get some escrows going.
Okay. Anybody else? Gail?
I have a closing in 2 days.
Yes.
Yay. 9-day escrow, all cash.
Woo!
This one's a interesting story. I was showing this gal probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. You know how we always spend so much damn time. Anyway, she never wrote an offer. Very frustrating. And I haven't heard from her since, except she called me last week and said, I went into an open house and I really like it. And I want you to represent me because we appreciate what you did a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it's like, really? I mean, that's like a nice, easy one. That's the start of my 25. She didn't sign anything, thank God. So yeah, we're closing in 2 days. So
Good
it's
for
nice.
you, Gail. Good for
But
you.
That's
finally
awesome.
somebody appreciates what you damn do, you know. Anyway,
I
yeah,
love those phone calls. That is really good. Thank you for sharing that.
that was a good one. Yeah,
Does
thank
anybody
you.
else have anything to share? I can't see who all is on the call.
I have something to share if nobody else has that can add value.
Go ahead.
So one of the things also,
Go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that I was
Yes.
sharing with my agents and the people that they're tuning in is Toastmasters. This year is the year of presentation. So far, the listing agents, they were presentation ready. That's what they do very well. They meet with the seller, either to do a PowerPoint or in person, but they have the confidence to tell the seller why they should list with them and how they can solve and get them top dollars. They just have it. They're wired that way. And they practiced for many years. For many people that they didn't have the skills, by default, they work with buyers. And of course, buyers just sit in my car, let me show you some homes. And we were protected by the cooperation in the multiple listing service. So if you had a buyer that we could take hostage and we wrote a contract, got it paid. That's it. You cannot change it. It's done. The rules have changed. And that's why, and I agree with Nate, that's the first thing. And that's why I'm actually shifting to get more listings because of the 3 months rule that is way too short. I agree. I think that's even discriminatory against the buyers, but that's a whole different episode that I can talk for 3 hours. But Toastmaster, in every zip code, there is a Toastmaster club. I'm actually a club coach for one of the clubs locally. We do it online, and I'm looking for active participants. It's only $60 for 6 months. So it's really very inexpensive. And we're helping you. I'm doing this evening a speechcraft. We're helping people how to use AI technology. They can write a speech. They would be able to deliver it with more confidence so that now they can be heard. And if 2025 make Toastmaster or increasing your presence of public speaking, presentation, leadership, which is all Toastmasters is all about, make that part of your agenda. Become the very best speaker you can be, because if you're not really be able to present very well and give the confidence, you can lose that listing to somebody else because someone goes in and they would wow the audience, which is the sellers and the buyers. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you're working with buyers or the sellers, since they have to pay your fees, you need to have a systematic approach and deliver with confidence. Toastmaster can be the solution. My number is there. If you want to learn about it, we're doing it on Zoom two times a month, the second and the fourth Tuesday, tomorrow 12 to 1. So it's lunchtime. Take a lunch, join us. And if you like, I can send you the link. And that's my speech for Toastmasters and also a gift for 2025 to become the best presenter speaker that you can be. Back to you, Frank. Thanks.
Aria, I know you're very passionate about Toastmasters, and I know they have them everywhere in every zip. And it serves a very, very good purpose. Elgin's not able to be on the call today. He had another commitment. And Michael, it's his anniversary week with his wife, JoJo. They're on a cruise somewhere having fun. So when you get a chance, wish them happy anniversary. And before we end this call, I'm going to get you off early today. I'm here in Sacramento. I know it doesn't do a lot for you folks in SoCal, but there's a gentleman coming this Thursday. His name is Matt Smith. Matt Smith has sold over 600 homes in 2024. Now, I'm using this as a way to get people to come see him. I don't care who you are. I don't think I've ever met a guy that has sold 600 homes in a year, ever. But I'm going. Even if you're not with DXP, you'd think you want to go and listen to how it gets done. But he's coming this Thursday in Sacramento. So I'm trying to get everybody there. If you have anybody in Sacramento, reach out to them, have them contact me, and I'll make sure they get in. Okay. Other than that, I just hope everybody is safe and reach out to Annie for anything because I put out Fridays with Frank that it really affected me, the fires. And believe it or not, I try to not watch the news because it just depresses the hell out of me. I mean, you'll get it on your phone, whether through Facebook or Instagram, but it is so, so bad. And the politics involved, it's horrible. It really, really is. So with that, you guys try to have a great week. Thank you for people who joined me this morning. If there's anything that I could do, reach out to me, 916-756-6042. I would be happy to help anybody that calls. All right, everybody, have a great
Thank
week.
you.
We'll see you next Monday.
Okay. Have a good week.
Thank you.